So whenever I think of nuclear, I think of the big picture because everything's connected. And these are shots from NASA that I've been trying to download for an hour. I get 19% here, 13% here for whatever reason. But this shows the sun with an occulter over it. And here's a planet moving, but you can't see it moving because it won't download. But anyway, so there's lots of things happening out here. Here's the energy that is hitting the back side of the Earth from some object on the opposite side, in the dark side. Here's the day side, sun's to the right, some object to the left. So that helps compress the Earth and heats things up. More likely to have earthquakes, which will cause problems at nuclear power plants. And then they'll melt down and kill us all. Here's something that does show an object next to the sun, so you got to get away from the 6th grade thinking of 8 or 9 planets, whatever they want you to believe now. But these objects are out there. They cause stress on the Earth. They're draining the sun, causing the sun to have less energy. There's all plasma connection here going up. So these objects are definitely out there. And Scott from Planet X News is talking about a lady in Sweden who filmed this. So this is really weird, and I think it shows that, if nothing else, there's obfuscation in the sky going on. But it's starting to indicate we're starting to see objects nearer to the Earth.
This is a video, and just sit back and check it out. I'm going to go ahead and let the video just loop through, and you guys can check it out. I'm still a little amazed at what I've seen, but I'm going to go ahead and set it for loop. Let's go into widescreen, and let's just check it out. I'll sit back and I'll be quiet for a few minutes.
Estão vendo que lindo? Isso aqui é na rua de casa. Vou mais um pouquinho à frente para ver se dá para mostrar o fim. Olha lá. Olha que lindo.
So anyway, that is a very odd sky. It has something probably to do with the lens systems. But never seen anything like that in my lifetime. So all these objects in space pushing and pulling on the Earth, we're getting more earthquakes. And here was a 7 near Anchorage. It was about at 40 kilometers, which means it will be felt over a pretty wide area. It was a 7.0. It'll be felt over a pretty wide area, but not that destructive. If it was closer to the surface, like 1 kilometer, then a lot of buildings in Anchorage would probably be in lots of trouble. And then there was they sort of move from left to right, the earthquakes, as they looked this way. So there was a 5.5 afterwards in California, but I don't know if there'll be more aftershocks. But speaking of aftershocks, look at how many occurred in Anchorage. Look at that. I've never seen that many aftershocks in that quick, but I'm no expert, of course. But that looks pretty odd to me, pretty interesting, and continuing action on the Earth. And remember that it was a 9 right here that caused the Fukushima disaster. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a human-made accident. It's a human-made terrorist organizations. All they're doing is making nuclear weapons. They don't really care about energy. That's just a silly thing to make people think that power will be too cheap to meter. So for whatever reason these nuclear plants blow up and melt down, whether it's a tsunami or somebody doesn't flip a switch or falls asleep, it's still a terrorist organization. Now this is Fukushima Daini, and it's just south of the other Fukushima Daiichi, and here they have monitors all around. This counts per minute. 157, 193, 310. So these are all counts per minute. And this plant most likely melted down also. It just, nothing blew up. So all these reactors are probably crap, because the same tidal wave hit here, that hit here, just 50 miles or so away. And the counters here are, there's 8,800. I think that's as high as that one goes, because it just says that all the time. 1,500. So anyway, everyone in Japan is getting radiated, but everyone in the US is getting radiated too. Look at these counts. In the middle of the United States, 431, 400, 385. So there was some kind of release somewhere, whether it was in some United States terrorist group, or it probably was somewhere here, I don't know. And then the winds and rain took it over this way. But it's just killing us all. So go nuclear. Yay. So here's a map of the world, and the nuclear power plants under construction is the black. So it doesn't look like there's much hope for humans. And these next two people are going to discuss a few problems we have. So I don't blame all the world's ills on Fukushima, although I think it's becoming the leader in the world. And this is the physicist and the philosopher talking about many things that are affecting the world, but they finally end up with the radiation part.
The young men today, those that are entering puberty, those are as old as their mid-20s, their sperm count has decreased by nearly 40%. This is not good news for our species. And they don't know what they are attributing to this to, is that they think it's environmental, obviously. But here's the problem. The young boys and young men, their sperm counts are decreasing, and the young girls, the fallopian tubes of their eggs are, I think as they call the membrane around it, is becoming weaker and weaker.
Yes, that has to do with there are a lot of factors. First of all, I think the powers that be have worked hard to get that done because they want to decrease the population. So they put place things in the environment to cause that, including in the chemtrails. And so chemicals will do that to your body. Fluoride in the water interferes with your endocrine system and how it functions, because all endocrine cells need iodine, and fluoride blocks the function of iodine in the cells. So that's a major thing. It's fluoride in everything.
Well, it's
not the only thing. There are many other factors. There's the radiation coming off Fukushima. There's radiation in the food we're eating because there's radiation falling on the ground. It's coming right over from Fukushima all the time.
I agree.
So the northern hemisphere is filling up with radiation from Fukushima. Eventually it will get to the southern hemisphere, but it will be the northern hemisphere.
In the meantime, we're seeing, again, I feel bad for the younger generations. I mean, my generation, we didn't have this to worry about.
So this is an interesting program. I'll put the link below.